How did this U.S. Navy destroyer almost sink the ship carrying the American president? The USS William D Porter was a U.S. naval destroyer, Fletcher class, named for a commodore of the Union Army. The ship was dubbed the Willie Dee by sailors across the whole of the Navy and gained a rather interesting reputation during the war. Her first mission as a commissioned Navy vessel was to help escort then President of the United States, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, on his way to the Tehran Conference, to meet with Winston Churchill and Stalin to assist in the coordination of the war effort. The first incident with the ship would occur before even making it out of port. On November the 12th, 1943, according to Navy reports, as she was leaving her slip, she would rake a fellow Fletcher class with her anchor, tearing off railings, lifeboat mounts, and the captain's rowboat, known as a gig, suffering no damage herself in the process. Then, on November 13th, while underway with the convoy and under strict orders to maintain radio silence and be on the lookout for German U-boats, a massive column of water and explosion rocked the Willie Dee, panicking the entire convoy and sending them into anti-submarine maneuvering before the crew realized that they had simply forgotten to strap down a depth charge and it had fallen overboard. She would then be inundated by a freak wave causing a boiler tube failure, washing a man off deck never to be seen again, and bringing her out of position with the convoy. And finally, on November the 14th, 1943, while still participating in the convoy protecting the President of the United States of America, and during demonstrations for the aforementioned party, the crew of the Willie Dee somehow, against all odds, managed to fire a live torpedo directly at the battleship carrying him, the Iowa. The crew tried frantically to signal the Iowa without breaking radio silence, but in the end were forced to do so when the lamp signal system being used only added to further confusion. When asked by the radio operator of the Iowa why they were breaking radio silence, the reply given was only, "Lion, torpedo, come right," lion being the code word for the Iowa. The president, having heard about the misfire, asked his security detail to move his wheelchair closer to the edge of the ship to get a better view. They watched as the torpedo detonated harmlessly off of the ship's bow. This incident would see the whole convoy training their guns on the Willie Dee temporarily. Eventually, they were ordered off to Bermuda to face an official inquiry into the situation. In the end, only one crew member was punished. A Lawton Dawson, the man responsible for not pulling the primer from the torpedo, was sentenced to 14 years of hard labor. A sentence that would later be pardoned by the president, most likely in amusement. After this rather shaky start, she served with honor in the Pacific Theater, starting in the spring of 1944 on through 1955, participating in both the North Pacific Campaign and the Philippines Campaign, before finally meeting a tragic end, frequently getting the message from friendly ships, "Don't shoot, we're Republican," an homage to the earlier incident with the Democrat president. On June 10th, 1945, during the Battle of Okinawa, an incredibly unlikely situation would unfold, leading to the sinking of the ship. A Japanese kamikaze plane targeted the Willie Dee. The ship saw the aging Aichi D-3A dive bomber coming as it broke the clouds and managed to evade the attack. But by a quirk of hydrodynamic fate, the plane managed to end up directly below the ship's keel, where it then detonated, lifting the Willie Dee clean out of the water according to eyewitnesses. She lost power, suffering broken steam lines and a number of fires. The crew battled in vain to save her for over 3 hours, but in the end, the abandoned ship order was given. Just 12 minutes later, she would slip below the waves, heeling over to starboard and sinking astern. Not a single member of the crew was fatally injured during the battle. The USS William D Porter was officially stricken from the Naval Vessel Register on the 11th of July, 1945, one of the unluckiest lucky ships of the war.